Hey robot makers, hope you're having a good day so far. So do you want to learn about the Arduino plug and make kit and whether it stacks up? Then this is the show for you. So let's dive straight in. My name is Kevin, come with me as we build robots, bring them to life with code and have a whole load of fun along the way. Okay, let's get over to our keynote and make a start. Yes, this is all about the Arduino plug and make kit. We're going to have an unbox of it and see how... see what the whole experience is like. We're going to talk about what it is, what Modulino are, what you can do with it. We're going to unbox it as well, obviously. We're going to play with a demo project, probably the EcoWatch, which is a cool temperature kind of sensor. Cool, so what is this Arduino plug and make kit? So this is a newish kit from Arduino. It's only been out a couple of months. I bought one of them as soon as this came out because it looked quite an interesting kit. So this is a beginner's starter kit. It's aimed at people who are getting into Arduino, into programming, into electronics and robotics. And this makes it really easy to do some little experiments and learn how all the different components work. So we can explore sensors, controls and outputs. So there's quite a few different sensors on here. There's like a temperature sensor. There is a gyroscope. There's a whole bunch of controls. There's a rotary control. We'll get into all the details of those in a minute or two as well. And it's modular, so this means you can add and remove, you can configure in different ways all the different components. This is what this makes this makes this project kind of unique, this kit. It has a base as well, this yellow kind of base that has these holes in it that allow you to attach the modules to it, so you can sort of give it a bit more permanent structure. You can rearrange all the parts to whatever project you're currently working on. So what is in the box? We're going to have a look at the box in a minute, but and it's a really nice experience. I've packaged things back up so you can see what the unboxing experience is like. But yeah, you get an Arduino Uno R4 Wi-Fi, which is the latest and greatest Arduino chip. And that one is a full 32-bit chip, has Wi-Fi capabilities, has this nice LED screen on it as well. Do an awful lot with that. Comes with a USB cable, comes with some quick cables, it comes with a Modulino, which we'll have a look at in depth, and it has a Modulino base which you can attach everything to. It's really nicely put together, very premium kind of finish to it. So I thought I'd just give you a quick highlight of the timeline. This isn't every product because Arduino, they create a lot of products, and this is mainly just the Arduino style of a family of chips and boards. So they started out in 2007 with the first iteration of what would become the Uno, an update the year after in 2008. 2009 was a bit of a fallow year while they were working on other things, which was the Uno 3, which launched in 2010. They also brought out the Mega in that year as well. I was interested to learn that the Nano came out in 2008. This is the sort of smaller version of the Uno. So the Uno R3, this is one of the ones I bought back in the day. It's an 8-bit chip, and yeah, it kind of gets you into electronics and programming and the whole Arduino infrastructure and ecosystem. A whole bunch of other boards that were brought out after that point. There's lots of Nanos that were brought out in 2019, for example, there. And then in 2023, there was the revision 4 of the Uno R4 Wi-Fi and Minima. So the Minima doesn't have the Wi-Fi or the RGB LED matrix, but it does have the same kind of chip as the R4 Wi-Fi. They also brought out the Nano 32 as well, the ESP32, which I have just on my desk here. I actually blew this one up, which is why it's got a big red X on it to remind me not to use this one. But this is a Arduino Nano ESP32. That's the ESP32 chip on there. So it can run MicroPython amongst other things. So you can see there's quite a big time period between those two releases, the R3 and the R4. So let's have a look at these Modulino. This is the new kind of innovation for this particular kit. So Modulinos are small circuits that contain sensors or controls or an output. They have one kind of sensor controller output per Modulino, which makes it easier to sort of focus and use this in your projects. So they connect with using I2C, which is a protocol that just requires four cables. You'll notice each of these Modulinos has got 4 little pin headers at the top, so you can directly connect to them and solder if you wish, rather than using the quick connectors. They also have the raw connectors for the headers on the bottom of the Modulinos as well. So they can connect with I2C using quick. This is the Stemma QT quick connectors that are very popular nowadays. I know Pimroni use them quite a bit. Pimroni, they use them quite a bit. on their products as well. And they can be mounted to the base with these 4 mounting holes that are at each corner there as well. They've got nice rounded corners, so they're nice and easy to work with. So this, I'll go through the 7 sensors and controls that you get with the kit. So the first one is the Modulino distance sensor. So this one can measure distance very accurately. It has a time of flight laser sensor. You'll also notice on this little diagram on the right here, we have the mounting holes, the 4 great big mounting holes there. Got the header pins at the top for I2C, and then the raw sensor header pins at the bottom, depending on what particular module is on this chip. And there's also 2 quick connectors. It doesn't matter which way around you connect them in, and you can daisy chain Modulinos together, which is pretty cool. So the next one is the Modulino pixels. So this one has 8 LED pixels on them, RGB LEDs, so you can change the colour, you can change the brightness. And this is great for doing all kinds of projects where you want to sort of, you know, show some kind of interactivity using light. We'll do that in one of the projects towards the end of the show. Next one is the Modulino buzzer. So this one can generate alarm sounds, play simple tunes, kind of brings your projects to life with some audio. So pretty cool that they've included that one as well. Next up is the Modulino buttons. So this one contains 3 tactile push button switches, so they can be pushed on and off. They'll just return back once you've pressed them in. And this is easy for sort of project navigation if you're creating something that requires some input and you've got, you know, A, B and C, or X, Y and Z, whatever you want to call them, 1, 2 and 3 buttons there. Next up we've got the knob. This is the rotary encoder. It also has a push button, so you can push it in to click, so you can turn it around as many times as you like and use it in your code. It's really good for fine-tuning value adjustments, as well as just having a rotary encoder to include in your projects. Then there's the Modulino Thermo. This one is a great temperature measuring sensor, and it also detects the humidity level as well. So you can use this one in projects where you want to do some environmental monitoring. So that's pretty fun. Again, we'll use that one in a project very, very soon. And then we have the Modulino movement. This one is a digital gyroscope. It can capture pitch, roll and tilt. So that's all the different directions that you can go in. So I always think if it's like an aeroplane, the roll is, let me make this right. So the pitch is kind of up or down. The roll is side to side, and the tilt, I think, is, or the yaw is kind of if you pivoted that way round. So you can measure all those as well. And you can also combine them together in different projects as well. So this really makes your projects, if you think about all the different combinations you can have with these 7 different modules, you can do an awful lot with them. So here we have like the Modulino Thermo and the Modulino buttons for a project. We can just connect them with the little quick connectors that you get with them. And they're really, really small connectors designed to be used with the base that comes with it. So if you like what I do and you want me to make more of these kinds of videos, please drop this video a like. Drop me a comment if you have any Arduino products, and tell me how you experienced with them. Have you built any robots with them, or any other projects, anything Internet of Things related? And if you've not subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe. It means an awful lot to me, helps the channel grow. We passed 33,333 this week, which means I'm exactly a third of the way to my first 100,000. So help me get to the next big milestone by subscribing as well today. And I do go live every single Sunday at 7 o'clock British summertime, or Greenwich Mean Time, depending what time of year we're in. It is live, so just be aware of that time zone change there. We have the same kind of daylight savings that the US has as well. I think we're just up 2 weeks behind that. So there's a number of projects that you can play along with this this kit. If you go to arduino.cc and then plug-and-make-kit, then you can see all the different projects that they have there. So here's a quick summary of those 7 projects that they've created to start with. And these are like really well written, really well paced, as you'll see when we go through them. So there's the EcoWatch, which we'll have a look at in a minute. There's a game controller where you can actually use your Arduino as an input to your computer. Use those 3 buttons as a kind of quick Steam Deck type thing. You have Sonic Synth, which is a output of sound. We have the smart light, so we can make the lights go on and off on the little LED strip. There's a touchless lamp. Be interesting to see how that one works. We have a weather report, and we have one that's called Hourglass as well, which uses the LED matrix on the Arduino itself. So let's have a quick review of this. So I've had this for a couple of weeks now. Overall, the quality is fantastic, as you probably would expect from an Arduino product. They do really premium quality stuff. So this one is high quality, premium finish, all the nice rounded corners. There's no kind of sharp, jagged bits. Perfectly safe to use in sort of an education school environment. And it's a really nice experience when you open the thing up, as we'll see in a minute. Value for money wise, it would be expensive if it was just the hardware. So if you were looking at this as a pure, counting up how much the kit costs, how much the sensors cost and so on, it might come across as quite expensive. However, if you include on there all the integration with the cloud, all the tutorials that are given away as well as part of this kit, and the innovation that's been brought into this, because you can't get this any other way, then I think that's well worth the money. And the innovation as well. So Modulinos are a simple and robustly repeatable way to connect sensors, controls and outputs to the Arduino. So one of the things I found, if you're using like the little jumper pins, sometimes they can be a bit hit and miss. If you plug it into the wrong one, you can actually damage, as I have done here, you can actually damage your chip. So the fact that we've got these nice little quick connectors that you can connect in, they can only go in one way. You can only do it right with them, so that's pretty nice. It's also a really nice attractive design. It looks nice when you put the projects together, that sort of bright yellow with the blue of the Arduino colour boards. I think that looks really, really nice. So one of the cons, rather than the pros, that's on there. So I found I bought an Arduino R4 when they very first came out, and the little USB-C connector on it I found could be quite delicate, could be quite finicky. So as I put it in, I have to sort of hold it at a funny angle for it to connect properly. And, that's a bit of a shame given that this was quite an expensive board. But that might have just been the very first stepping that they did of that particular board. So I'll give them. I've not had that same issue on this in this kit. So let's get into unboxing it, shall we? So I'm going to go to my overhead camera over here. So you can see we've got the kit here. And it's quite a chunky box. If you look there, there's the size of my hand. It's quite a big chunky box. So the first thing I'm going to do is slide off this, what do you call it, sleeve. It's quite on there as well, actually. There we go. So there we go, slide that off. So the box now has got kind of a hinge on one side, so as I open this up, so if I can do this, it's just a bit stuck there, there we go. So as we open it up there's two halves to this. You can see immediately we have the board. There's the Modulino base. I turn it over, you can see there, it's got sort of a nice design on it. And they've even got in the very, very corner there, I don't know if you can see, but there's like a little map of Italy, which is pretty cute. And it says on there, plug and make kit by Arduino, designed in Italy, open source is love. Love it. So this is it's a PCB, but it doesn't actually have any electrical connections on it. These are just simply holes, and it's very robust, very, very solid. On this side here, we've got this instructions that it says, hey there, fellow maker. We're thrilled to welcome you aboard with the plug and make kit. You'll unlock the world of Arduino, from hardware and software to cloud technology. Get ready to take your first Internet of Things device, embark on an exciting DIY journey with us. Let's create something amazing together. I love that. Right, so as we open this up, we can see there's the Arduino sort of poking through, and there's a little knob that's just showing there. So this is also like a little inset. I'm just going to put that to one side. And then what we have here is all the different Modulino sensors. I'm going to take all of those out, and we can have a look at each of those sort of individually. And we have the Arduino Uno 4 with Wi-Fi. It's also in this like little plastic holding case as well, which is needed to mount it to this board. So you can see there, that's the, if you've seen one of those before, that's the Arduino Uno R4 with Wi-Fi. So there's the Wi-Fi chip. It's got the little LED matrix there. I think they're just single red LEDs. It's not like an RGB LED. There's the quick connector that we're going to be using to connect to all the projects. There's a little debug header there, another header there, and we've got the standard header pins there to be able to plug things in. There's the USB-C, the reset button, power if you've got like a barrel jack, you can plug in 5 volts to that as well. Now on the other side, we'll just put this down here for a second, we have another thing we can reveal. We've got a whole bunch of bags and things, so there's a whole bunch of screws for screwing in stuff to our base. I'll get them ready there. We have some standoffs, so we'll be needing those. Let's just get those ready. And we have a nice USB cable. What I like about this USB cable is it has this USB, is that USB-B? USB, I can never remember which one it is. You can also pull it off and you've got like a USB-C to USB-C. So that's nice that they include that little adapter there. So depending on what kind of computer you've got, you can definitely plug in there. So I'm going to be using that one. Let me just get that one ready. Just going to plug this one in, just so that we're ready. And we've got a bag of little quick connectors. These are really short little cables. Let's just get them out there. As you can see there, they're absolutely tiny, but they enable us to connect these Modulinos together. So let's have a look at this first one here. This is the rotary encoder one, so you can push it, you can turn it round, and you can see there we've got the quick connectors. There's like a little symbol that you'll see on all the documentation there. See if we can get that to focus. Focus, there we go. Which indicates that this is the rotary encoder. So it spins around. It's not a potentiometer, it's a rotary encoder. It's very slightly different. Next up we have the pixels. So this one is a row of 8 RGB LED pixels. So these ones can go any colour. Got the nice little light there. And if I show you how these sort of connect up, it's just as simple as you'd expect. You can plug in the little, get it the right way round. I was worried that these would be a bit too delicate for educational use. We can see there we can wire them up any way we wish, and you can just keep daisy chaining your Modulinos together. So they only go in one way round, like so. Next up we have the buzzer. That one doesn't look very attractive, but it's just quite a loud buzzer. We can use that in our project to have some sound. We have the 3 buttons there, 1, 2, 3. These are the same kind of buttons that you see on the actual Arduino itself. It's the same kind of style that's there. Next up we have, this one is the temperature and humidity sensor. You can just see that it's nicely separated there as well, so that you can get all the sort of airflow through it. That's pretty nice. This is the movement. This is the accelerometer gyroscope, so it can detect which orientation it is, pitch, roll and yaw. And then finally we have this one here, which is the laser rangefinder. This one is the time of flight distance sensor. You can just about see the 2 little, almost like little eyes just in the middle there when the camera caught it. So one of them is the laser bounces out, the other one is a sensor to measure how quickly that laser bounced off. Right, so the first thing I need to do then is get some of those screws and quickly screw. I'm probably just going to do 2 screws for now. See if I can get some, there we go, with a nut. And I've got a nice big Phillips screwdriver as well to screw all this together. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is just take this out. I'm just going to try and do it, there we go, so that we can put the screw into the base, and then that can fasten into here like so. So actually we wanted these standoffs to make it to stand off the board ever so slightly. Let's do that. So this is the boring bit of the video. Can't fast forward this bit. There we go. So I'll probably just do 2's probably enough. That'll be enough. I'll have to do all 4. Let's get the rest of the screws out here. So I have had this constructed already. I kind of put it back together just so you could see what the experience is like of unboxing it. Let's just screw that one in, and then the next one, and then we can get to setting up the code. So what's interesting, you don't need to use the Arduino IDE to do a lot of the programming. You can actually use the cloud, the web interface, which is quite nice. They've really spent a lot of time making that as good as the regular kind of IDE that you might be used to. So I kind of grew up on the IDE as being a piece of software that you'd run in like Windows or on the Mac or on Raspberry Pi. But interestingly, they haven't updated the latest version on the Raspberry Pi. and I think that's because they want you to use the browser instead. Right, so just quickly screwing these in. I didn't actually need the nuts on these. I've done that the wrong way round. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Sorry about that, folks. I just need to spin that round. I'm only going to screw in like 2 and then that'll be done. Otherwise we'll be here all day. So have you bought any Arduino kits yourself? I'm interested in people on the chat. Have you bought any Arduinos at all? Or are you like a Raspberry Pi or Microbit or just ESP32? There we go. Let's just do that one diagonally. All that quits after we've done that one. I've just got a screwdriver here as well, so I can just do that a little bit quicker. There we go. That's pretty much in there. So these are designed to be sort of screwed in, unscrewed, screwed in, unscrewed many times. Right, let's get that the right way round. This is just like a friction fit. This doesn't need to be screwed or anything like that. I think it just kind of clips into place, but there we go. So that's the Arduino in place. Now for the kit, the project that we're going to be doing, we need this little LED strip, and we also need the temperature sensor. So I'm just going to plug those two together. I'm going to get another one of these connectors, and I'm going to connect this into the Arduino itself. Let's make sure we get that the right way around. There we go. So the idea of these, they're all flat as well if you notice underneath, so that they can go nice and flush against this board, and we're probably going to try and get them to be that kind of orientation. So again, I'm just going to do them kind of finger tight, just so they don't fall off the board. I'm also trying to do this without dropping anything, because you know me and dropping things. Let's do that one as well. Also need to remember to show you this as I'm doing it, because it's kind of arms outstretched as I'm doing this. Right, need 2 more screws, and then we're good. 1 and 2. I did actually calculate how many screws you'd need to screw in all the screw holes, and it looks like it is designed to just to do like diagonal like this. If you wanted to plug everything in at the same time, I don't know if it's actually designed to do that. Can you, because they're all I2C devices, have they all got unique IDs across all 7, or do they repeat the same ID? I'm not 100% sure there. A lot of the documentation on the site suggests just using 2 at a time. I don't know if that's just to try and make the projects simple, or whether you can actually use multiple at the same time. So that's something we can look at together in a second. Right, we're nearly there, and then we can fire this up. Okay. Right, let me just clear the desk a little bit to make some space. That over there. Move that over there. We'll keep the Modulinos out. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to plug in the USB cable, and we might see some activity on the RGB LEDs there. What I will do as well, I will turn down the light if I can on the overhead. Let me see if I can do that one. So overhead light, turn that down. So you can see there we've got some flashing lights. That's just like the read and write. If I reset that again, you might see some activity on the RGB LEDs there. So there we go. So it's connecting to the cloud, and if it connects successfully, we'll get kind of get a message, if you like. Right, I'm just going to put that light back up so we can see what we're doing, and I'm going to come back over to me for a second, and then I'm going to load up the website so we can start programming this. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get over here to courses.arduino.cc, plug and make, lessons, and then setup. So they have like a welcome page for plug and make. You can see there we've got a welcome, setting up your computer, content overview, and they've got all these different projects that we looked at on that slide earlier. So we're going to look at the EcoWatch project. So this one says, welcome to the EcoWatch project, where you dive into the exciting world of building your own environment monitoring station. Say goodbye to feeling too hot or too cold, and hello to perfect conditions for your plants to flourish. Monitoring temperature and humidity levels is key to creating an ideal environment. So the components we need for this project are the Modulino pixels, which we put in place, the Modulino thermo, which is the temperature and humidity sensor, and the LED matrix is the display that's on the Arduino Uno itself. And it says there, in this project we're going to learn how to read temperature and humidity, combine Modulino and thermo and LED matrix, scroll text on the LED matrix, map an analog value to a pixel to Modulino pixels, switch between different colors, and we're also going to learn about functions, loops, increments, mapping, and so on. Now the other cool thing, this uses the Arduino cloud service, so we can actually have a dashboard that we can see those readings and we can interact with our project. We can turn the lights on and off from that dashboard. We can do all that straight from the browser. So let's get into this. I'm just going to scroll down. It talks about using these templates. So one of the cool things they have on this Arduino cloud is like projects where they've already put all the code together. All you need to do is just run the template. This is what we're going to end up with, this little dashboard where you can see the temperature, the humidity. We've got an on-off button for the lights, and there's like a minimum and maximum setting, so we can actually have the RGB LEDs light up green, red and blue depending on whether it's too hot, too cold or just right. So it says go to template, so I'm going to click on go to template. It's going to load up Arduino Cloud, and you can see there it says we can use this template. So we have the Arduino Uno R4 Wi-Fi, we need the USB cable and the two modules that we've already plugged in there. So I'm going to click on the use template. So that's now going to open up a new sketch and that we can import this template into. So it says before importing, make sure you've got your device and network settings all known. It's going to wait for the device to become available. Now I do have on the top of my screen, which you can't quite see, the Arduino agent. And this is like a little piece of software that runs in the background that communicates between the Arduino and the cloud service. So it's found it, which is good. We can now configure it. We can associate it with this particular project. I've already got this one as I was just demoing it just before, just to make sure things would work well. So I'm just going to detach that. I'm just going to get it to do my, just do that again. There we go. That's one of the Wi-Fi networks I've got in here. So hopefully that'll be good enough for it to work on. We've got a couple of other ones if that one doesn't work. So it's basically just compiling the sketch, checking all the code is correct. We've not even written a single line of code yet, but we can edit that code in a second. And one of the really cool things about this Arduino ecosystem is it has this over-the-air updates kind of by default. So you can update your code without having to get a USB cable and plug it back in. If it has those Wi-Fi settings that we've just loaded in there, it can have that permanent connection to the cloud. We can tinker with the code, flash that to the device, and it will pick up that new version. So even if it has problems with that code and that code kind of crashes, we can still do an over-the-air update. And that's kind of part of the firmware. So we do have to just wait for it to do this compiling sketch. Once it's done that, we can then crack on. And I think this is because it's using like a cloud service to do that compiling. So there we go, it's compiled the sketch. It's now uploading that to the device. If I go over to this view here, you can probably just about make out that the lights are flashing there as it was like receiving code and doing whatever it needs to do. And I'll turn off that overhead light again just so that we can see. So we're done. So now let's just leave that flashing away there. And if you can see on my screen, I'm just going to move this down a bit. We've got a dashboard. It's loaded straight into this dashboard. And we can explore this in a bit more detail. It says it's 22 degrees at the moment in this room, so it's about 2 degrees out, I would say that. But if I put my finger over that sensor, let's see if we can make it raise the temperature. So my body heat is making that temperature go up to 26, 27, and then back down again. And the humidity is also, it says it's about 50% humidity in here. I've got an air conditioner behind me, so I'd be surprised if that's an accurate reading, but that's what the sensor says. Now we've also got this light switch. Now currently if I press that, it doesn't seem to be doing very much on there. And that's because the template doesn't have the code in there for making the LED light switch work. So we can edit the code and we can make that work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back over to here. Right, so what we have on the screen here is the temperature sensor and the humidity sensor. We've got this min and max, and we've got this light switch. And this light switch doesn't seem to be doing anything at the moment, so we need to edit the code. So I'm going to click on this little hamburger type menu at the side here. We're going to go over to our things. Our things are when we have some code, when we have a physical device, and we have like a dashboard. And you can see there we've got this build and make. We've got this EcoWatch sketch, and that's the thing that kind of combines all those things together. So if I click on that, we should be able to then edit that sketch and change it so that we can do some fun things with it. So if I go back to that tutorial, we can see that there's this step 3 about a color indicator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the code that's been highlighted for us. I'm going to copy and paste this into our sketch. So that one is, I think, was it just there? Let's put it just down there. The instances of objects. So one per Modulino. Then there's another block of code a bit further down, which is LED begin. Let's copy that, paste that in just down here, just after the thermo begin. Then let's go to the next block of code, which is just after the, it's in the main loop, I think, yeah, the main loop. We've not done the scrolling text yet, but we can add that too as well. So I'm going to copy this, paste this over into our code, just at the bottom of there. And let's see if it's going to be happy with that. Right, so I'm going to get it to upload that code. Let's see if that works okay. While it's doing that, let's see it flashing away as it uploads the code. That's a good indication that some data is being sort of, at least a response is being sent back there. But it's currently verifying the code, it's compiling it, it's checking it. Oh, and it says that there's an issue there. What if I typed incorrectly there? Let's see. So I must have pasted something in the incorrect place there. So it's saying, let me just find the error in the code. Alright, so I think this is an extra one that didn't need to be in there. Let's try that again. Yeah, unlike MicroPython, you have to have all your squiggly brackets just right in C, otherwise it won't work. It is quite fussy like that. Okay. Again, just waiting for it to compile. Again, this is another difference between C, C++, and MicroPython. MicroPython, it's interpreted so it runs immediately. It does run ever so slightly slower compared to C for C++. Whereas if we're running C, C++, it has to compile all the code, create like a binary, and then it uploads that binary onto our device. So it just says there, we're verifying the sketch. Thanks for your patience. It's exactly what you want on a live stream as well, isn't it? Something that takes a bit longer to do. So once it's finished compiling, it can then upload the code. You can also see, if I just jump back out of that view there, you can also see we've got this little USB or cloud icon there as well. So that also helps us understand where that code is being stored. If you look on the bottom of the console there as well, you can see it says over-the-air upload requested. So it's actually doing the update over the air. We go back over to that view. You can see now that there's the two lights are sort of flicking very fast together as it's flashing the code. Got the little indicator there that it's connecting to the cloud on the little LED matrix. And once it's done that, we should now be able to... Oh, there's a sad face. That doesn't look good. Does that mean it couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi? It does say it's over the air is updated successfully. So I'm just going to give it a second to come back. And then we can go back to the dashboard. So let's go over to here, click on dashboards. Let's find our EcoWatch project. It might be able to do the things actually, because it's the one that's green that's lit up that's currently connected. Let's click on that one. And let's go to, it's the dashboard that I want to go to. So let's see if we can find that. Dashboards. So William's saying Arduino compiler is slow and a pain at times. It certainly can be. Right, there we go. Let's go for that one, the EcoWatch one. And it should be the same dashboard that we saw before, but if I now click on this light switch, can you now see that the RGB LEDs have now gone red? I can switch that off, switch that back on. So I've got like a little light switch, and it's sending this data over the internet. So just remember, when I'm clicking this button, it's not interacting over the USB cable. That's simply providing power at the moment. So all the interactivity is via the Arduino cloud service. So what we can do on here, we can set the maximum temperature. Let's set that to say 23 degrees. The minimum temperature I can say is, I don't know, 19 degrees if I set that. So we're currently sat between the minimum and maximum temperature, so that's why it's now green. If I put my finger on the temperature sensor and artificially make that go hotter than it should be, you can now see that it's turned red because it thinks the temperature is 26 degrees. If I take my finger away, let that drop down, once it goes below 23 degrees, those RGB LEDs will turn green to say you're in that nice sweet spot. There we go. So this is a nice visual indicator to show us that we are now between those two values. So I really like this project because it's using two Modulinos. It's very quick to put together, and it's very simple to get the code up and running and have a dashboard as well. So you can view this dashboard on your mobile phone, on a tablet, on any computer that's connected to the internet, and you can even share it with other people as well. So it's really quite a cool feature of this. So that's one of the first projects. I'm going to now go back over, back full screen on me for a second, just while I get the browser back to the code. That was let's go back to things on there. Let's go to our EcoWatch 2, because I've been playing with that this afternoon, and we can see there these cloud variables. So the way that we can expose values to this dashboard is we connect up variables and values in our code with variables and values that this dashboard can accept. So we've got a humidity, a light switch setting, which is true or false. We have a maximum and minimum temperature value, which is a floating point number, even though it's showing it as a whole number, an integer at the moment. And we have the actual temperature as well, which is another floating point number. And you can see it's updating these in real time. You can also see on the right hand side there, we've got like an ID for the device. We've got the type of device that we're connected, which is the Arduino Uno R4. It's online, it's currently receiving data, so it can see that. I just moved me out of the way for a second. You can see we've got the Wi-Fi network and password there. We can even change that if we wish. Smart home integration, we can configure this to work with all kind of, I don't want to say the names out loud there just in case people are listening with these devices connected, but yeah, you can see there we have the two popular home devices, and we can also have data forwarding. We can send this on to other things as well. Okay, so let me go back to the sketch. So if I can just click on this button here, we get the sketch up. And you can see there, here's the actual code. We've got this things properties. So these are the values that we want to share in the cloud. We've got our secret SSID, which is our network name, and we also have the password as well, if you have a password. And then we've got all the variables that we have to initialize. So that's it's written all that code for us. We've got a secrets tab, which I'm not going to click, which has got all the actual values on there of the secrets, such as the Wi-Fi username and password. So on here as well, we have all the includes. These are all the different libraries and modules that we need to have included in our code for this to work. We initialize all those different objects, which is the three Modulinos. So there's the thermo, the pixels, and the Arduino LED matrix has got a nice block there as well. And all Arduino code follows the same kind of pattern. So we have the setup and we have a loop. So the setup just runs once and the loop runs forever. So the setup, we've got this serial begin. That's this console down here. So as we're sort of printing our error messages to the console, that's where they appear. We've got a bit of a delay there just for it to for that serial console to sort of appear properly. Matrix.begin just as that nice little cloud animation to show that this is a cloud project that's using the cloud services. We've then got a block of code there that's going to initialize all the Arduino cloud libraries. So it's going to initialize that. It's going to start the Arduino cloud. It's going to wait for the Arduino cloud to come back. We pass in that little matrix so it could display that nice little cloud thing. If I just show you that again, if I go over here, if I just press the reset button, you get this nice little cloud icon appear. It shows that the Wi-Fi connecting, and once the Wi-Fi is connected, it then reaches out to the cloud. So it's sort of animating to show that it's working. I don't know why it does that face. That face looks like a sad face to me, but it is actually connected and working fine there. So A bit of a weird face to have on there. And then what else do we have? We have Arduino Cloud print debug information. We then begin all the different modules, so the Modulino, thermal and LEDs. So if there's anything that they need to do with their startup, that then works. And then we have the main loop. So the main loop runs forever. So it's going to update the Arduino Cloud with all the values. That's how quickly this code executes, because we were getting that kind of in real time. We set the temperature to be thermo.getTemperature, the humidity to be thermo.getHumidity. We print out all those values just to the console so we can see what the current temperature and humidity values are. And then we then say if the light switch is true, so if we've switched that light switch on from the dashboard, we can then say define the color as being white. If the temperature is less than the minimum temperature, it's blue, it's cold. If the temperature is between minimum and maximum, which is just right, the Goldilocks, then it's green. If it's above the maximum temperature, then it sets it to red. And then we have this little loop here where it just goes through each of the LEDs and sets them. So we can actually set each individual pixel to a different value if we wanted to. And then it shows all those LEDs once that loop's finished. If the light's false, it then just sets everything to be off, so the value to be 0. And then these functions are just callback. If we don't need them, they won't actually have any code in them. So you can see they're on temperature change, min and max, and on light switch change, there's no code in there either. So that's how we have these cloud-based projects. You can see here I'm editing this via a browser, and we have on the side tab here all the information that we might need about example code. This is like we used to have on the example sketches in the Arduino IDE. We've got the libraries, so we can see which libraries we've got. If there's like a newer version, then we might need to update our library on the device too. And we've also got reference as well, so we can really dig into things like how do we do a tone function, and it gives you all the details on there. And you can kind of expand that out if you want some more detail on that. It's a bit messy in there, I'm not sure what's going on. And then again, just having a look around the interface, we've got home, which is the home for all our projects and things. We've got all the sketches that we might want to edit. So this is like a cloud storage system for all your sketches. You can have folders in there, you can give them nice names. We've got this idea of having devices. So if I wanted to have my Arduino Uno code edited in here, it could recognize that that's a genuine Arduino. If I had one that's like cloud enabled, like this one has the Wi-Fi chip on it, this is the ESP32, the Nano ESP32, we can register them on here as well. And we can then associate a device with a sketch, and then that calls it a thing. So we have things on there as well. I think you are limited on your plans on Arduino Cloud. You get so much for free, but if you have so many things on there, I think it limits you. So you can see I've got another one down there, Weatherbot, which is another one that's running just at the back of the studio. That's been on there for like months. And then we have dashboards. This is how we can put together, a bit like Node-RED or something, a dashboard where we can get values, we can switch things on and off, and so on. And then triggers. Triggers are external events that might happen that we want to interact with our code. So we can create a condition. Once that condition happens, we can have an action fire, and that's how we can create some interactivity. So that's quite a fun thing to be looking at. And then there's the templates. The templates is this new idea of, let me just let it accept all this. I'm not sure why it's asking me for a, you can't see that, it's asking me for a password there. Let me just log in there. So these are all my templates. I've not defined any templates at the moment, but we have all the Arduino templates. So you've got the Cloud Blink, got Cloud Blink ESP32, the EcoWatch, which we've just done. We've got a Cloud Energy Meter. There's lots of different ones. That game control looks pretty interesting. Build a game controller with an Arduino Uno. And for each of these, it'll tell you what kind of projects you need. You've got all the different Modulinos there as well. So examples for all of them. Cat food feeders, plant communicators, water level monitoring. They've got loads of different projects. So each one of these is just very simple to get up and running just by clicking the template and following the code. So there we go. Let me get back to my keynote then. And let's see what else we've got next. So yes, if you want to get yourself one of these amazing Robot Maker hats, you can do that by going to casualrobots.com/merch and following the link there. That also helps support the show. That's the main reason for doing this. But yeah, if you want one of these cool hats, you can get one of those from there. And if you're not on Discord, you can go over to our Discord server, so kesrobots.com/discord. You can sign up for a quick it's like an email link that it sends you. It sends you a link by email, so just check your junk mail if you do that. It hasn't come through in, say, like 3 minutes. But yeah, there's a growing community of people over on Discord, and you can also share pictures of your projects that you're working on, ask questions, and just hang out there. If you want to follow me behind the scenes and see what I'm working on, you can do that in all the different social medias. So I tend to post to all of them. So I'm on Threads at Kevin McAleer at threads.net. I'm on TikTok at Kevin McAleer 6. I'm on Instagram at Kevin McAleer. I'm on X at KevsMac. I'm on Mastodon at kevsmac at mastodon.social. I'm also on Blue Sky, so kevsmac.bsky.social as well. So definitely follow me on there if you're not already. I want to try and get to like 100,000, 10,000 followers on each would be pretty cool, to be honest. If you want to get your name in the end credits, you can do that by going to kesrobots.com/coffee. So for the price of the coffee, you can get your name in the credits. And if you want to do a thanks while we're on the live now, let me just make sure we've got all the stream elements switched on, which we have. Then you can do that. You can do a super thanks. So if just below the main player on YouTube, on like the web, there's a thanks button. You can click that, and that's just a way of doing like a one-off thanks. If you're watching this live, you can do a super chat. It's got a number of people watching live right now. And if you want to join the YouTube membership program, you can do that as well, just by following the link that's on screen there. We also have Buy Me a Coffee if you don't want to do it via YouTube. So let me say thank you to some of the supporters. Here we go. So we have on the left-hand side, I have to do this like mirrored to what you see, not mirrored, the opposite to what you see. So here we have Sebastian Mass, who bought me 2 coffees. Thank you very much for that, Sebastian. Really do appreciate that. Marie-Louise Mayer bought me 3 coffees. Thank you so much for that, Marie. Really do appreciate that. And Toxic Toad also bought me a coffee in the last month as well. And members on the Buy Me a Coffee, we've got Shemi, we've got Alvaro, we've got Marie, we have Jeff, Steve, we have Dean Corty, Marlene and Tom. And then on the YouTube side, we have Bello. Hey, how are you doing, Bello? We have Dale Hybrid Robotics. We have Orksrad39. We have Little Black Ford. We have Paul, Johnny, Handsome Cheerlights, Stephen Cross. We have John Paul Jolly, Alistair Ware, Cassie, Tinkering Rocks, Johnny. We have Michael, and of course we have Tom as well. So thank you so much for supporting the show. I really do appreciate that. And if you've enjoyed any of this content, please consider that as well. Cool. So I'll just go back over to there. Yes, and that's everything I've got for you on the main show today. So YouTuber will be suggesting over here a video that it thinks you will like to watch next. That's for people who are watching this on replay. For those people who are watching on replay, I'll say thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.